Welcome to 13 Degrees of Screams,
where we scream so you don't scream.
We're your host, Alex.
And Stephanie.
And this week we live deliciously in The Witch. The Witch is a 2015 folk horror film written and directed by Robert Eggers in his feature directorial debut and stars Anya Taylor-Joy in her feature film debut. Set in the 1630s New England, its plot follows a Puritan family who encounter forces of evil in the woods beyond their farm. On Rotten Tomatoes, it has a 91% with a critical consensus that states, as thought-provoking as it is visually compelling, The Witch delivers a deeply unsettling exercise in slow-building horror that suggests great things for debuting writer-director Robert Eggers, and it has a 60% audience score. So, Stephanie.
Yeah.
Have you seen The Witch before we watched it for the podcast?
I haven't.
Really?
Yeah, it's actually a favorite of Charlie's, which I was surprised because Charlie doesn't really like anything horror. I didn't really go in fearing anything, obviously, and I had a fun time. I like period pieces.
Do you?
Yeah, for the most part.
Okay. You liked it then?
Yeah, how about you?
Yeah, I've seen this one other time, and I really like it.
Yeah, I like the setting, the vibe, and everything, and the atmosphere is so intimate with all like the candlelit and moonlit scenes and stuff like that. It just really brings that whole everything outside of this, they're so alone kind of.
When the first time I watched it, so they speak like they would have back in that time, so it's not like they didn't try to stylize it to where we're talking like today's English, like they talked as they would.
Yeah.
So the first time I watched it, I didn't use subtitles, so I kind of like missed quite a bit. This time around, I put subtitles on and I actually caught more this time around because like somehow being able to read the words they're saying, I was able to catch everything this time around.
Yeah, I typically watch with subtitles anyway, just because sometimes I don't catch things and I rewind it.
Yeah.
But then I could imagine this was probably a little bit of a rougher watch in theaters if they don't give you subtitles for the old English.
Yeah. So I'm saying this just if you haven't watched it, anyone listening hasn't watched it, like don't let that deter you because
it's so good. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's even if you don't catch absolutely everything, like visually it kind of guides you as to what's happening anyways.
Yeah, you get what they're doing. You understand the emotion.
Exactly. But I do recommend watching with subtitles because I was able to catch everything this time around. But yeah, I really enjoy this movie. I do really like slow burn movies. This time around, I wasn't like excited to watch it just because I knew it's kind of slower. But once I got back into it, I'm like, this is great. I love this. Everything about this is great. Because it's slow, but it doesn't end up feeling boring. At least not to me.
Right.
Like I was invested from beginning to end.
Yeah. I heard it was a little bit longer just because it takes a while to do really anything. But I felt like there was enough inciting scenes. I mean, granted, didn't find anything too particularly scary, but I thought there was like enough to keep you invested throughout the whole thing. Because I thought it was just the end, and then like the ending would be just a little weird, and then you'd be like, okay, moving on.
Yeah, I like it's obviously there's witchcraft in here. So a lot of the things that happen aren't so outlandish or crazy. They're all like very subtle things.
Yeah.
It's not too outlandish or anything. So I don't want to say it's realistic, but it feels more realistic.
And just the fact that it doesn't hold any punches by like killing off all these kids.
No, these children are
goners,
newborns, toddlers.
Newborn first 5 minutes, like gone, goodbye.
Goodbye. Yeah. The witch in this movie is not
sympathetic.
Nice. No, not even a little bit.
No.
But yeah, it's a very good movie. I enjoy it a lot. I'm surprised by the difference in critical score, at least on Rotten Tomatoes. Like, always take Rotten Tomatoes with a grain of salt, but 91 to 60%. I'm like,
it's a big difference, but I don't know. Maybe just some people just didn't like the slow burn of it all, or how like the subtlety of some of it. And
I could see it. Yeah, I could definitely see someone like watching and be like, that was it.
I thought it was interesting and very much how, like, if you want to perceive me this way, well, I guess I'll be that way.
Right? Exactly. We'll get to it in the plot. I have the same sentiment.
Yes.
Like, fine. You did this.
Are you ready to get into the plot?
Yes.
In 1630s New England, English settler William and his family, pregnant wife Catherine, teenage daughter Thomasin, preteen son Caleb, young fraternal twins Mercy and Jonas, are banished from a Puritan settlement over a religious dispute. The family settled near a large secluded forest where they built a farm, and Catherine gave birth to their fifth child, Samuel. And I just wanted to clarify, too, that I had to look it up, like what exactly dispute was going on. I think it was just that the Puritan village that they left, what else were they calling it? It was, I don't know, the town, the Puritan town. But the Puritan town, I think, was like a little bit more relaxed in their values, and William was like, ooh, not enough.
Yeah.
Could we just be a little bit more Christian? Like,
yeah, I think that's what it was. I think that's what I gathered.
Yeah, the sense.
From watching it. Yeah.
Yeah. One day, while Thomasin is playing peekaboo with Samuel, he suddenly disappears. It turns out Samuel was stolen by a witch who killed him and used his blood to rub all over her body for some sort of floating ritual.
Bitch. No, that is terrifying. Could you imagine, like, watching a baby, closing your eyes, and then it's gone?
No.
Like, we want to talk about anxiety.
Yeah.
Like, I will never babysit a baby.
You can't handle that responsibility.
I would be a wreck. I'd be like watching it like this, just staring at it the whole time.
Can't play peekaboo because you can't take your eyes off of it. No.
I could not imagine like something happening to someone's child. That I'm not even gonna put myself in that responsibility because never.
Oh God, yeah.
I couldn't live with myself if I was watching a baby and something happened. No.
When I nannied one time, I had let their dog out and the doors locked behind me and I was locked outside with the dog. I mean, luckily I had the baby monitor, but I was a complete wreck. Like, she was asleep in her crib the whole time, so I could see her, but I was still like, oh my God, I've killed her. Like,
yeah,
like I was just horrible. Like, I called the police and everything. I was like, I'm so scared. Please come.
Yeah, I don't blame you because I couldn't handle it. Mm-hmm. But that's scary as shit. Like, you keep the visual of the witch. Like, I don't care. That instance of the baby just disappearing. No, like, I could only imagine.
No, it was terrible. Yeah, and especially because it's your sibling at this point too. Like, for her, and no. Nope. And obviously her mom too has like these, it almost seems like kind of jealous of her just because she's coming into her own as a woman. And
the mom is very weird in this.
Yeah, like, well, this is also the actress, I think, a little bit too. Like, she just plays these weird people. She is Eliza Aaron in Game of Thrones, the crazy aunt that's breastfeeding the 10-year-old boy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So she just plays these like very like deranged people very well. They're
like, yep, we need you.
Yes, you'd be perfect for this.
She's just constantly, I mean, I understand she doesn't want to be in the situation she's in. Mm-hmm. She's just like constantly on edge and blaming everyone for everything.
Yeah. And like, I mean, she, for the time period too, I think she's very aggressive towards her husband as well. And I was like, I'm surprised he put up with that. Comes up.
Yeah, like her sins for being like that. Yeah, it's this whole movie starting right off the bat is just like doom and gloom.
Yes,
literally setting wise and tonally.
Right. So, worried the unbaptized newborn will be damned to hell, Catherine spends the following days in constant mournful prayer, while William and Caleb search the woods for Samuel. They believe he was taken by a wolf, and I was like, either way, anything taking that baby, too quick, it doesn't belong in this world. Like,
right, exactly.
Yeah, it was so like less than 30 seconds, so no.
It was like 2 seconds, because she like, peekaboo, gone.
Yeah, like, just not there anymore.
I would not believe anything somehow took it. I'd be like, this baby literally just disappeared because no one took it. There's no way.
You don't want this baby back. It's a time traveler. It's not for this time. Like,
I don't know.
Yeah. However, William has lost hope they will find the baby alive, and the two hunt to prepare for winter as their crops are failing. Yeah, we learned quickly that William is not a very good settler, at least on his own. He's at one point Thomasin confronts him and says he's only good at chopping wood, and I was like, facts.
Same. Do you think, I mean, maybe jumping the gun here, do you think it's also because of the witch and the land that they're on that is just
be, yeah,
hostile,
just cursed property, or It could be.
Who knows?
Ooh, something to think about. Caleb asks his father about whether or not Samuel is in heaven and how do they know who has good or evil in them. Brutally honest, William says that he could comfort him, that they will of course all go to heaven, but he and no one really knows, only Christ. And I was like, thanks, Dad.
Yeah, I mean, at least he's being honest.
Yeah, he's
right?
like, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know, kid.
I don't know. How could he know? Who knows?
I know. I feel like he was a little young to be told, like, well, I don't know. You could be praying all day and you still might go to hell. We don't know.
Right. Well, I mean, that was just how it was back then, you know? So.
Yes.
You had a thought about eating at the wrong time and hell. You're going to hell.
Yeah.
Sinner. Like, just any little thing. You took 2 steps to the left on the wrong day.
Right. It's
Hell.
Tuesday. You can't do that.
That was probably putting it nicely, honestly.
Yeah.
Because he probably could have just been like, yeah, that baby's in hell.
Right.
Because that's what they really
believe.
think.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
That probably is actually kind of sweetening it a little bit.
Yeah. Caleb notices his father bought new hunting supplies, and he admits that he sold Catherine's treasured silver cup to pay for it. Meanwhile, at the farm, Thomasin struggles to keep her younger siblings, Mercy and Jonas, in line. They often refuse to help with chores and are constantly playing with the family's goat, Black Phillip. When William and Caleb return, they lie to Catherine about being in the woods, and William and Catherine scold Thomasin for not keeping the twins in line. It's weird because, like, she yells at them to be quiet, and they're like, Thomasin, no. And then the kids are, you know, themselves, which are awful little children.
I hate them.
Yeah.
They deserve everything that's coming to them.
They are
I'm sorry.
the worst. and then they scold Thomasin for not yelling at them, like right within like 2 seconds.
Yeah, no, Thomasin cannot do anything right. Mm-hmm. Damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of situation here.
Yeah.
I don't blame her at the end.
And it's clear she's internalized it too, because right before we see her watching the kids and stuff, she's like praying, like, forgive me of all my sins and stuff like that. Really, she hasn't done anything wrong.
Well, yeah, kind of how what we talked about, like they think anything they did was wrong, really. Right. So, but yeah, she's also blamed for Samuel being taken, even though she didn't do nothing. It's rough. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, well. Sorry, Thomasin.
Yeah, it sucks to be you, I guess. I forgot to add this, but Caleb is also becoming a young man, and I guess because they are so separated from people, he is like, wow, the only other person that has boobs that's not my mom is Thomasin.
Mm-hmm. What in the flowers in the attic is going on here?
I know, right? I was like, oh.
No, ma'am. Stop it.
No, don't do this. So he notices, and Mercy jumps out of nowhere and pretends to be the witch of the woods and tells the other children that Black Phillip told her that Samuel was taken by a witch. To make Mercy fear her, which I am kind of on Thomasin's side. Like, she needed to put the fear of God in her somehow.
Right, she would not listen.
She is such a little rat. Thomasin tells her that she's the witch. She gave baby Samuel to the devil, and to not tell anyone otherwise, she'll do the same to them. That evening, Catherine blames Thomasin for misplacing her silver cup and losing Samuel. When the children are supposed to be asleep, they overhear their parents arguing over their possible starvation and making plans to send Thomasin away to serve another family.
The father just lets her take the blame for the cup.
Yeah, I was like...
He's like, I don't know.
Yeah, like Thomasin's not already suffering enough of a burden of being guilty for losing their youngest child. She has to also take the blame for the cup.
It's a fucking cup. Yeah, I was just like, can you... I mean, he does try to, like, bring the mom down a little bit, but hey, you should probably not have your daughter take the blame for something you did. Mm-hmm, for sure. Perhaps.
Yeah.
And then just going back quickly when Thomasin was saying she was the witch that took Samuel to the devil, I'm like, you just shot yourself in the foot by saying that.
Yeah, these kids will talk for sure. Yeah.
Ugh, so fun.
But I get it. Like, she's at her rope's end. Like, they don't listen.
Oh, yeah.
They don't want to play with her. They don't want to do anything. So
yeah, like, she couldn't foresee what was about to happen, but like, I'm like, no, don't say that.
And honestly, like, I think it's because Catherine is letting Thomasin be the parent. Like, I don't know how she was before the baby vanished, but she is just letting Thomasin control the kids and not being a parent to them. And I think that's why they behave so badly.
Yeah, they're the worst.
The next morning, Caleb takes Thomasin into the forest on horseback to check their traps with their dog Fowler. Caleb says if they find something the traps to sell, Thomason may not have to leave the family. They come across a large hare, and Fowler takes off chasing after it, with Caleb following after him. In all the commotion, the horse is spooked and knocks Thomason to the ground unconscious after running away. And I was like, this is a huge, like, don't fuck with me bunny. Like,
I know.
It's like staring him down. Like, I was like, this is not your typical bunny.
No, that's a hare. Mm-hmm. Hares and bunnies are two different things.
Yeah.
And this one will fuck you up. Right. It's like, try me. I dare you.
Now lost, Caleb finds the dog disemboweled, and I hate that.
I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm. And comes across a small hut where the witch emerges, disguised as a young woman, and kisses him. And I don't know if he was, like, compelled to come into her embrace or whatever, but he, for a boy that obviously wants womanly affection, he does not seem psyched.
Yeah, Or
he probably knows it's, like, a sin anyway, or whatever, but...
he probably didn't need much coaxing, to be honest. He's probably like, I shouldn't do this, but I want to do
But
this.
he's like practically on the verge of tears. He's like...
Yeah, it could be a combination of things. Either he's doing it against his will because she's luring him, or he wants to do it and he feels guilty for doing it.
Yeah. Okay.
Or all of it. Who knows?
Yes.
But he does it. And I'm like, please don't kiss this child.
Mm-hmm. She does. Thomason awakens alone and finds her way back to the farm when she hears William calling for them. Furious, Catherine berates her for taking Caleb into the woods. And to get some of the blame off Thomason, William finally admits that he was the one that sold the silver cup. And Catherine backhands him. And I was like, wow, like, she got balls for this day and age.
Like, you're lucky he didn't, like, I don't know, kill you.
Send you back to town to be hung or something. I don't know.
Right.
I feel like that's a big sin to honor your husband. I think that's a big thing. That night, Thomason goes out to tend to the goats and finds Caleb naked, delirious, and unexplainably ill. Catherine suspects this is the work of witchcraft and prays for his recovery. The next day, Caleb violently convulses, scared of something coming for him. His jaw locks shut and William has to pry it open, where he throws up an apple. Suddenly overcome with peacefulness, Caleb adamantly proclaims his love for Christ and quickly dies. It's quite the scene for this kid. Like you can tell, like, he is like afraid of the witch, and then like the sereneness just like falls over him, and he almost a little too into Christ because he's like, "Kiss me!" Like,
yeah,
it's like, oh, a little gay for Christ. Like,
that's a little weirdly. Yeah, I don't like that at all, and I think the witch was messing with them, obviously, that whole time. Like, that was, I think that was meant to be a little like, ugh. Mm-hmm. Like, that's not right.
No, that doesn't feel right either way.
Yeah, it was not good.
And Catherine went to jump right back into blaming Thomason, as she was the one who found him after he disappeared. And the twins jump on board, accusing her of practicing witchcraft, like claiming that they can't pray over Caleb, they don't remember their prayers. Thomason's making her forget them. Thomason promises that she's not a witch and accuses the twins of being witches for having conversations with Black Phillip. Which is fair. Like, they're always with this goat, like, singing with him, like, and it's a pretty dangerous goat to have, like, children just be, like, running in circles around him. Black Phillip, clickety clackety, clickety clackety.
Yeah, his horns are, like,
the size of them.
Yeah, curved, like 3 feet, maybe? I don't know. I'm like, don't mess with this goat. He will impale you.
Yes. Frustrated and unsure of who is telling the truth, William locks all the children in the shed with the goats. In the dead of night, the twins and Thomason awaken to a chilling sight, the witch greedily drinking the blood of a nanny goat. Meanwhile, inside the house, Catherine is ensnared in a delusion, believing Caleb and Samuel have returned to her. Caleb also says something about, "I've brought a book, will you look at it with me?" And I was like, oh, it's the devil's book.
Yeah, I think they were trying to recruit her, too.
Yeah.
It seems.
Yeah, but I guess since she wanted to cradle and nurse Samuel instead, they just decided to do a little...
She's like, I don't care about your book.
Yeah. Then we cut away to reality, and a raven is cruelly pecking at her breast.
Ow.
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 And she's like,
Yes, my baby is back with me. Yes. I hate nipples being torn off. I will say that. That's probably one of my icks.
Which is funny that this has happened at least 3 or 4 times in movies.
At this point. No.
At this point.
Yeah.
Enough to call attention to the fact
back to back.
nipples coming off.
Yeah, hate it. Come dawn, William discovers the goat stable in ruins, the animals slaughtered, the twins vanished, and Thomasin lying unconscious with her hands stained in blood. And I suspected that the twins were dead. Like, we didn't see them, but I just suspected their bodies were, like, just in the shed. But apparently they are just gone.
Yeah, I will say, in William's defense, she do be looking a little guilty at this point.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, okay.
Everyone else is dead. Here you are. Like,
covered in blood. I'm like, all right. Look, I know you didn't, but I don't blame William at this point.
Yeah.
For maybe being like, hey, something ain't right here.
Right. As she regains consciousness, Black Phillip violently gores and kills Philip. And he kind of lets it happen after, like, he gets him first time, like, blitz attack, doesn't see it coming. And then he reaches for an axe, but then it seems like he decides, well, no, I'll just let the goat kill me.
That's fine.
Yeah. But that night before anything happened, he did pray that his children would be spared and he would suffer whatever consequences God wanted him to experience. So I think that was him just accepting being killed by the goat to spare his family.
Yeah, no, that's not what's happening.
Which is crazy, but...
Yeah, no, this isn't happening. You're literally, your twins are gone, and you just see your daughter, and this devil goat is killing... Like, you'd think, like, hey, make the connection, like, oh, this goat is bad.
Right. This is a bad goat. I don't know why. Why do we call him Black Phillip? That's strange. Why did we do that? Like,
well, to be fair, his fur's black. So,
I guess, but still.
Why is this black goat called Black Phillip? I'll never understand.
well, but you know what I mean? Like they don't have white goats and they're like, that's White Susie. Like, Black Phillip is a thing for the devil. I'm pretty sure.
I know, it was just funny. Why do they call him Black Phillip? Because his fur. I guess. I don't know. Just I'm guessing. Yes.
I'm just saying they should have named that goat Larry. Like, Larry's not the devil, so... A deranged Catherine accuses Thomasin of causing their misfortunes and attempts to strangle her. Defending herself, Thomasin, weeping, kills her mother with a billhook. Left alone.
Bye.
Yeah. And I feel bad for Thomasin. She's like just telling her over and over, like, I love you. And like, no, Catherine don't give a shit.
Like I literally didn't do this.
Yeah.
This like brings you back to a time where you're like trying to tell someone you did not do something and they don't believe you.
Yes.
Like, even in a small situation, like in real life, how frustrating that is. Could you imagine like doing that on this level? Like, no. I did not do any of this.
I've told you. It's the twins. They're talking to the devil goat. Like, why aren't they here? Like,
exactly.
Left alone, Thomasin ventures into the goat house, pleading with Black Phillip to speak as he does to the twins. The goat answers in a human voice, promising her a life of riches and freedom. Upon her acceptance, he transforms into a striking man dressed in black, instructing her to disrobe and sign her name in his book. Naked, Thomasin follows Black Phillip in his goat form into the forest, where she discovers a coven gathered in a witches' sabbath around a bonfire. The witches begin to rise into the air, and Thomasin joins them, her laughter echoing as she soars above the trees.
Whee! And there's that one, like, straddling a stick. Did you notice her?
No, I didn't see her.
She's like, whee! That'd be me.
Yeah. I'm a witch.
I'm a witch. They are.
Yeah, they are. It's crazy that there's that many of them in the forest. I was like, so technically it could have been a different one every time.
That is true. I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Could have just been one that, I honestly didn't think about that. Because you only ever think it's just the one. Mm-hmm. But then there's a whole bunch of them.
Right. Yeah, there's at least like 8 of them.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. But yeah, you're right. I was like, there's just one bitch doing this.
Right.
No. Nah. It's a bunch of them.
Whole coven. Yeah.
The ending scene's pretty striking, like the visual of it all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like she's naked and covered in blood, but she's smiling and laughing and stuff like that. And
yeah.
It's like the first time she looks happy the whole movie.
I know. It was just messed up. Mm-hmm. But I will say, when they start floating a little bit, I was kind of like, that's a little silly looking. It looks like they just were like lifted by like the strings a little bit.
Right.
But it is cool overall.
What if that's all they get? Like they have to kill these children just to float?
Yeah.
Just to be doing some floating.
Well, we do know that it brings them life again. Like they get young again.
Yeah.
Too.
Sort of like a hocus pocus thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of slaughtering them, they just use a potion and hocus pocus. But, same concept. They want to stay young, and they just kill babies.
Mm-hmm.
It's not good.
Right. Did you find it weird that the devil was connected with the witches? Because I felt like they were kind of like their separate entities. Like, just like their fear of like sinning against Christianity. And then there just happened to be magical workings in the woods with the witch. I was just surprised that like Black Phillip and the witches ended up coming together.
Oh, no, I definitely thought that they were connected. I mean, just because of the period piece of it all. Mm-hmm. Like witches are from the
mean,
devil.
it makes sense now looking back, but I felt like during the movie they were their own separate things for so long, it seemed. But
oh, no. I don't think they were necessarily like working together, but like that's how you become a witch.
Yeah.
Signing the book and the stuff like that. So,
right.
Yeah, no, I thought they were interconnected.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I don't know.
Poisonally.
It felt like they were separated a little bit, but
yeah, they were like, there's the goat doing his thing, and then the witch is doing their thing, but they're like friends. They know each other. Yes. They're not necessarily like doing it together,
Yeah, exactly.
That's kind of how I looked at it.
Okay. And so, do you think, like with the crops and everything, that was like the witches of the woods doing, or
that I don't have thought one way or the other. Either William just sucks at surviving, or I wouldn't be surprised if it was because they lived by the witches.
Yeah,
I could see go either way. I'm leaning towards it because the land was cursed.
Yeah. I'm
gonna go with that.
I'm interested in how like they would proceed from there, though. Like it seems like they need children's blood and stuff to be able to maintain their youth and beauty, but now like they've killed everybody in this homestead. Mm-hmm. So are they just gonna go back to being old now until somebody else tries to move on to their land?
Yeah, I'm sure they're nomadic in nature too, so
okay.
They might move about.
Yeah, I'm just curious, like what's their future plans? Like, are they going on vacation? Like
they're like, we get what we can when we can get it. So like they're just gonna have to hold out till they find
wait.
somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the one witch was pretty old when we see her, so they might have been waiting a little bit of time. And then by the time we see them at the end, they're all pretty young. So
yeah, true.
They have quite a bit of time, I would say.
Oh, yeah. Maybe it just like completely restarts the aging process again for them. Like once they take a victim, they're like back to their 20s or something. And
that's what I was thinking, but
yeah,
who
maybe.
knows?
I was thinking about it being shorter because like with how many kids they take. So
yeah, well, maybe they need one kid per witch, really. So we saw there was at least 8 of them, so they needed at least all the kids.
Yeah.
So it just depends on where they were in their aging process.
Do you think they always planned to turn Thomason, or just like that just happened because she asked and they were going to come for her next if she hadn't asked?
I think they were probably going to recruit her. I mean, they could have killed her at any time, right?
Right.
They left her last for a reason, I feel.
In the shed. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, they thought maybe she was the closest to becoming one of them, so
yeah,
they let her make the decision.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, interesting. I liked it, though. Yeah, I thought it was very good.
It's like a very simple plot. The first time I saw it, for whatever reason, I remember it in my head that it was like questionable if they were actually witches, and you find out at the end there were. And then I go back, I'm like, no, that kid definitely just threw up an apple out of nowhere. There's definitely
there's definitely something afoot. Like
right. I don't know why. The first time I watched it, I'm like, maybe there's not. Maybe there's no witches. Maybe they're all just like delusional.
You see the witch by themselves with the baby, and at first I was like, what's happening with this baby? Is she about to molest this baby? Because she's just groping this baby. Like
yeah, so you definitely see the witch with the baby. So I don't know why I thought like maybe it didn't actually happen.
You're like, I need to see the apple again.
I don't know, but yeah, no, it's I don't want to call it a fun movie because it's not.
Yeah,
it's definitely not. But it is a good movie.
You see the lady drinking goat blood, and you're like, "Oh, Grandma! Like, what are you doing out here?" Like,
oh my God, no!
You're like, I don't know if there's a witch. Like,
it might just be one of the pilgrims. Who knows? Yeah. Maybe they did that back in the day. Oh boy, no,
not like Susie.
Not Aunt Mommy Sussin.
No. I do love I guess I just love this kind of atmosphere now that I've watched this happen in this way, compared to like Midsummer too, like the ending, like just giving in to whatever's happening and just being like, yep, that's my situation now, and I'm happy with it.
Stephanie, I fear for your outcomes in life. You're like, I'm just gonna give in. I'm gonna see you be a cult leader next thing I know.
I do like Cult of the Lamb, so.
Oh God, no, Stephanie!
I'm very benevolent. I don't make them eat their poop or anything.
But what if they want to?
Well, that's not right, because it escalates. I find that it escalates, and I don't think that's okay.
What if I want to eat the poop in the bowl?
Well, next thing they're like, make somebody else eat the poop in the bowl. Then they're like, let's kill this person overnight. So
that will happen.
It just happens. So I refuse them.
Yeah, side tangent. If anyone listening wants a fun game to play and you haven't played it, Cult of the Lamb is a good one.
Yeah.
Are you ready to talk about our scary scenes and our scariness scale?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I don't know why it came out so tiny.
All right. I see you have Raven pecks off nipple.
I hate that. Just don't like that.
All right. Next scene. I'd be
Also,
concerned
like,
if you said you did like it. All right, let's put it
I guess
that way.
that's true. But then there's no attention drawn to it. Like, William walks out that morning, sees that Catherine's nipple is bleeding. Like, just like, you know.
It happens.
Catherine. That's lady business. Like,
no. It's all bad. Yeah. Did you find that scene to be scary or just more disturbing or gross? Like, how did you... You're just like, I don't like that.
That's true. Yeah, just gross but I did feel like the darkness of it all because Caleb's kind of talking kind of creepy too. Like, we have this book to show you, mother. Would you like to read it with you? Yeah, I thought it was dark for at least, and gross because nipple.
And then you have Caleb convulsing, and I agree with this one a lot. This scene actually really does unsettle me quite a bit.
Yeah.
Possession type situations, I'm like, no, I'm not.
And he has like a full maybe 10 to 15 minutes where he's just doing the most, convulsing, saying all these weird things about she's coming to get me, don't let her in me, don't let her touch me, all this stuff. And then even when it converts to like he's happy, he thinks he's seeing Jesus and everything, it's still weird. Mm-hmm. And so it's such a weird like shock to see him like go 180 to being so scared to being like, I found peace.
Yeah, like, no, you didn't.
I doubt
this is all a ploy. And then on top of that, like, while that's happening, the twins are unresponsive on the ground at some point.
Yeah, you're like, are they dead? Like,
the mom is just like unconsolable, blaming Thomason. It's just a lot to handle in that scene, and I think that really encapsulates the whole like vibe of the movie, or like everything could kind of tie back to like this scene in sense of where all the people are at. Thomason just like watching on as her family blames her for everything,
right?
And everyone going through it, kind of a thing.
I did wonder, like, what was, like, the twins' whole motive or vibe? Like, was it always, like, they were going to just be taken by the witches? They were just having a fun time with them beforehand? Like, Black Phillip really liked playing around with them? He thought they were fun? Like,
yeah,
I thought they were like very creepy. I think I would include them, like, constantly taunting the goat. Like, at one point, it almost does strike the father while they're, like, dancing around again. I don't know. They're creepy with their little interactions with him. Yeah.
The twins are like the scariest part of this movie.
Yes.
I hate them.
They're constantly singing Black Phillip, clickety, clickety, clickety.
And they run like little goblins. Like,
yeah.
The way they move. I'm like, you know what? You could take these two. Bring back Samuel, leave Caleb, take the
right.
We'll
twins. Just start fresh.
It's fine. So yeah, no, that scene is very unsettling. And then the other one that I thought is kind of what I just talked about at the beginning is just with the baby leaving. Like, that has nothing to do with like well, it does have something to do with supernatural in the sense the witch took it, but just the thought
being
of
there and not
an infant baby just literally just disappearing, like, that scares the shit out of me. That's so unsettling. Like, it gives me chills. I hate that.
Yeah.
Like, obviously anything happening to children, except these twins, fuck them. But happening to newborns, I'm like,
I remember in the
We're really going
trailer,
there.
they like really draw it out. Like, I don't know, like they're cutting between clips while she's playing this peekaboo thing. And then you're like, oh, like nothing good's happening with this baby.
What did you have the movie rated overall?
I chose 7. I didn't think anything was personally too scary, too like wouldn't stop thinking about it kind of thing. I just liked the atmosphericness of it, and the seriousness of all of these events culminating in Thomason becoming a witch. I think it was really interesting. It also makes me wonder about, like, how did the other witches join? Like, was it a similar situation? Do they all, like, go through these trials to eventually become ousted of their families? And,
Yeah.
And then they're witches too?
I had it actually higher than you. I had it as a 9.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, this whole movie is very unsettling to me. Like, a lot of things that scare me are like the less outlandish things, and these more like, I don't want to say grounded, but kind of like, you know, outside of the apple being spit up, everything that's happening to these people is all like speculative, and just everyone's emotions mixed into it. That kind of horror freaks me out more than like the outlandish killing and that kind of a thing. So, and also the atmosphere of this whole movie is there's no joy to be had.
Right.
I mean, visually it's like really cool to look at, and like the time period, like of course I'm very interested in the witches and stuff like that. It's just a very unsettling movie, and especially all these things are happening to the kids. Visually, like the witch is like just an old lady, really. So
Yeah.
like it's more of not visually, but what's happening to these children is what makes it
Right.
scary.
Yeah.
So that's why I have it so high. Like monsters and scary faces don't really get to me all that much, but the scenarios in which people are going through. So that's why this is higher for me.
Fair. Okay.
That was a long explanation to say more grounded, everyday things are more scary to me.
Yes. Yeah, that's fair. And like I said before too, like the isolation of it all, like it's just them really. Like, I mean, take the witches out of the equation, it's still creepy that they're like in the woods by themselves. Like there's no electricity. This is 1630s. Like they're just sitting in a shed that their dad built. Like, hope
This
we
is
live.
fine.
Like,
Yeah, right. Hope I don't die tomorrow.
yeah.
Something doesn't kill me. So yeah, I could not imagine
Yeah.
living. I know, as society, we bitch and moan about everything. Not everything, but, we complain on a daily basis. Not to say we don't have issues, but like, I'd rather live now than back then, I think. I don't know
Yes.
if I could cut it, to be honest.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know.
I
that
don't
could
dream
do
of
it.
labor. Like, so,
I'm like, oh my God, I have it made compared to like trying to live like that.
yeah, no.
It's a lot of work.
I'd be tired.
And then there's witches, Stephanie,
And then there's witches. Like,
trying to eat me.
right. Yeah, that's the worst of it all. Like, you're like, oh, like it's not only that I'm like facing like illness that we can't cure or starvation if these crops fail. It's just, oh, there's also witches. Okay.
Yeah, just add it to the list.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoy the show and listen on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, giving us a 5-star rating is super helpful. We'll always appreciate it. If you're watching the YouTube video, we would appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel, and we'd love to hear suggestions on what movies you want us to cover.
Yes, and you can find us on social media using 13 Degrees of Screams.
This has been 13 Degrees of Screams, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.